welcome back to another conversion video. We're finally getting around to the cladding today after so many delays. It's actually happening. I'll just give you a little update on what we've done and what we're going to be doing this weekend. I finished off the flooring in the week. I asked him to do a time lapse, didn't do one, so here's a little clip of how it's looking now. Tomorrow we're going to be installing all the tongue and groove, well not all of it, but hopefully most of the tongue and groove into the van. So we'll show you how we do that and how we get all the shapes around the van and everything like that. So hopefully it's going to go all okay, no other issues. But first, today, we're going to be getting on with the battens. We've decided to use the leftover laminate flooring, stripped down into pieces about this wide. Usually for battens, people use 12-18mm thick, but we are trying to maximise space in the van, so we are using the thinnest materials, basically. Hopefully it's going to take off the least amount of space around the walls and ceiling. So we'll see how it goes. It might not work. Hopefully it's going to work. So fingers crossed, it's all okay.
I had a thought about stripping down the laminate flooring into battens. 6mm, and it's pretty flexible.
Next!
Don't bend it that much. I think that should be strong enough.
The Brockhands drilled 4 pilot holes into the laminate battens, which just stops the wood from splitting, because if you just screwed it straight on, it's more chance that the batten, because it's quite narrow, could split. And then he has countersunk these, which is just using an attachment on the drill like this, which basically the screw will just sit in there flat and flush to here rather than sticking out when it's drilled in. And these are self-drilling screws, which you use when you're screwing into metal. This little end bit is sort of like a drill, and it drills into the metal and then screws in.
See here, curves inward because we're using really thin batten. Up there it's flush with that. We've had to pack it out basically, because if we didn't do that the cladding would be pushing up against there, but we wanted it to come right up to the rubber seal here. And then on this lower bit here, because it curves out, we're just going to drill straight into the metal basically. If we were to put ends like that, it would stick out even further on the bottom here, and we don't want that. So everywhere where I've screwed in self-drilling screws, I've screwed them into the beams that go across. Remember not to drill straight into thin sheet metal, and you'll drill into the outside. I haven't done it yet, but I might do.
We've come into the van this morning to find leaks. There's at least 2 that we've found here, and it's got all the underlay soaking. And realised that Brochan has these screws through to the outside. So we've put all the battens up, and Brochan's had to go to Screwfix to get more screws, because we got wrong screws again. And now we're going to be doing the cladding, so I'll show you the cladding. It's 7.5mm and it's from B&Q. It was £30 a pack of 10, I think, so we needed 3 packs. So we've got both our centre lines, I don't know if you can see that tiny little line up there, and one the other side behind. By measuring from side to side.
But it has to be
exactly, and then just dividing it in half, and then you get the middle point. We're going to start 1.9 centimetres this way over the line, just so that means that the tongue and groove will end just at that corner there, so that there's whole planks rather than having like a little slither just there. It's important to get the centre line exact for your first plank of tongue and groove cladding, just so that by the time you get to the wall and floors, it's not askew. These little gold screws for this, so that it looks a bit nicer with the cladding. For this one on the corner, Brochan scribed this edge first, so we could see where it would lie on the rest of the roof. There was no battens under here, so this has just been screwed straight into the metal. And then for this end, to get it up to here, we just measured from that end over to here, and then measured from the top there to there, and then just cut that out. At the very end, Brochan apparently just guessworked that and did a sort of measurement and then just cut at an angle. So what we're planning on doing to get the shape of these sides is putting up 1 plank at a time So we'll just mark that end from the bottom of the top one. Yep, there, and then the same again.
Follow that line.
Not exact, like you can get scribing tools for this, or we did have a whole ply sheet for the whole of this wall, and that would have been really useful because we could have just laid all the cladding out in a block and then drawn round the ply because it was the exact shape of this, and then we would have had the shape and size on the cladding, but we haven't got that. So yeah, we're just going to do it one by one and we'll see how it goes. This has worked really well, just marking from the top one down to the next one, and then at the rubber's edge we just mark and then cut it down like that, and Brookhan's done the same on the end. We just decided to put an extra batten in the middle to give it a bit more strength, because there's a little bit of give in there. We're not putting anything on this wall really, so it's not imperative, but we're just going to put it down there for a little bit more strength for the bottom half, which will give the top half a bit of strength as well.
So to get a nice shape around the curve of the wheel arch, just slotted a little bit of timber in like that. This makeshift scribing tool, which is terrible. If you buy one online, it would be much easier, I would have thought. Just did this. Doing a rough scribe, cut it out like that. And then what I did, I marked out little bits that I needed to cut out. And then when you get a nice fit, like that, we basically ended up putting it on that there. Marking it like that, cutting that bit out, and it should be a relatively nice fit.
So the reason we scribed onto a short bit of wood is because obviously when you've got the full length, because it comes to here, you can't fit it in because of that, it would be shorter there. So just scribe onto a shorter bit and then you can use it as a sort of stencil. So we just used the same bit as a stencil for this side as well, we've got to trim it. As we were doing the cladding down here, we forgot to explain how we did these. Got the curves on this bit, and I'm just going to demonstrate them now. One way is just put the cladding up. So you just hold the plank up. I mean, this would have slotted into there, but obviously I can't now. You just do a line following the rubber seal. So just following this seal, and it gives you a rough line to work with. Once you've cut this out, you'll have a better idea then how well it fits in here, and you can cut little bits. Another method is to put it behind the area you're trying to do, and if you've got a scribing tool you can follow along the contour of the rubber and it'll give you a rough scribe. You can make a makeshift scribing tool, but it's just easier to have a real scribing tool. We finished cladding this wall now and half the ceiling. We scribed all down the edge one at a time, and it seems to have worked quite well. The wheel arches, they're a little bit off. We're not even going to see these. They'll be under the bed, but yes, finally got cladding in.